Another one for the Brotherhood as Duke lands 16-year-old Joaquim Boumtje-Boumtje. And I think I'm close on the pronunciation there, but definitely will take some time to get that one. A fun name, nonetheless, and certainly a player worthy of nicknames. So if you guys got any nicknames that you've thought of for Joaquim, drop them in the comments below. So, who is Joaquim Boumtje-Boumtje? Well, we're going to have some highlights here for you guys so you can get a little bit familiar. He's a 7-footer, was born in St. Petersburg, Florida, and then spent his teenage years with the Barcelona basketball program playing in Liga U, and that's the under 22 division for them. So at 16 years old, he was playing with guys as old as 21. He's also played for the USA youth basketball teams. As I said before, he was born in the United States. His father, Ruben Bonce-Boumtje, was born in Cameroon, played for Georgetown. He's 5th all-time in block shots for the Hoyas, and also played in just under 50 games for the Portland Trailblazers. He's the 3rd Blue Devil on next year's roster, as far as I know, and I think I have this right, whose father played in the NBA, joining Caden Boozer, Carlos, obviously, and Bryson Howard, whose father, Josh Howard, was a one-time All-Star with the Dallas Mavericks. So NBA pedigree's about. He has 2 years of draft. Has to wait 2 years, before he's draft eligible. Very much the same story as a guy like Jaden Quaintance, who played his first season with Arizona State. And then last year he played he didn't really play, but he was on the roster really for Kentucky. So therefore, he has to remain in college for 2 years. Hopefully, both those years end up with the Blue Devils. He's really skilled, averaged 16 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 2 assists in 23 minutes. Also, just over a steal and under a block per game. And 51% from the field, 33% from 3, and 78% from the free throw line. So a very capable outside shooter. You guys saw a little bit of that in the brief highlights I had for you guys earlier here. He's certainly a guy who, this is a given for most 16-year-olds. He'll turn 17 in May. He's got to get stronger. He's got to adapt to playing in a more physical game, and that will come with time. And I think that's the beauty of him joining Duke while he will be 17 for all of next year. He'll be even younger than where Cooper Flagg was when he joined the Blue Devils. And he's a guy who I think I'm not expecting a whole lot next season. I think it's really designed so that the following year, his sophomore season, he can take it and run and be a real impactful player. I think he'll be, in the rotation or on the fringe of the rotation next year. And speaking of that, here's how the depth chart looks for Duke. We're pretty much done. It's pretty much done for Coach Scheyer. He may add 1 or 2 more guys in the practice player mold like Duke has had in previous seasons. Thinking of guys like Neil Begovic, Jack Scott, Cam Sheffield. You guys get the idea. But yeah, this team is loaded. You've got guys, you've got so many options, and I totally understand if people don't agree with how I have some of this ordered here on the depth chart. For example, Duron Rippey and Caden Boozer and Caleb Foster. I can understand people disagreeing with the order or the positions there for those players in particular. I think there's a lot of time that we're going to be able to figure this out over the summer, and then I'm sure there's going to be some surprises in the rotation once we get started because the coaching staff has a lot more information than we do. But just looking across this roster, a couple of observations. Number one, obvious depth. Coach Scheyer clearly felt like last season had a big impact on the injuries, and it really hurt them at the end of the season. He wanted to make sure that injuries wouldn't have as big of an impact moving into next season, and has done a masterful job of building out a 12-man scholarship rotation players here who outside of Maxime Meyer, are all capable of playing next season. You've got a lot of versatility in the front court with Cam Williams, Joaquim Boumtje-Boumtje, Sebastian Wilkins, I think, can play the 3 and the 4. Gongba's your center. Drew Sharnowski. I've seen some places where he's listed as a 4. I see Sharnowski as the backup 5 to Gongba, with Cam Williams and Boumtje-Boumtje capable in short stretches of also playing the 5 position. Dame Sarr and Bryson Howard are your 3s. Blackwell's your starting shooting guard. And then Foster, Caden Boozer, Rippey can all mix in at the 1 and the 2 positions there. Just a lot of depth and versatility on this roster. And really, the thing that I'm most excited for is the potential for all of these freshmen to return as sophomores. I don't look at any of these guys and say they're a lock to be a one and done. And so it's very exciting that you can have a scenario in which Cam Williams, Boumtje-Boumtje, Bryson Howard. I mean, Boumtje-Boumtje is just fun to say. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it perfectly right here, but it is fun. Deron Rippey and Maxime Meyer all back for sophomore seasons. You could see Sebastian Wilkins stick around, although I do feel bad for him in this circumstance where his playing time, I think, he could have been positioned as a rotation guy. He's going to have to fight for that now. Certainly, obviously, Foster, Blackwell, Sarr, and Gongba will all most likely be gone. But there's also the world where Caden Boozer sticks around for a junior season. So I think Scheyer's done a phenomenal job building out the roster. We'll see who ends up coming in for those practice player spots. So make sure to subscribe to the channel covering all things Duke. And then also the ACC and a little bit of the NBA draft here as well. But I think Duke, from where Duke was 10 days ago, maybe a little bit more than that, 2 weeks ago, to where they are now with this roster, I'm going into next season. There was a period of time where I was thinking, okay, they're going to be good, don't get me wrong, but, maybe not national championship contender. I'm going into next season thinking they're one of the favorites now at this point with the talent that Scheyer has added to this roster. And not only the talent, but clearly getting commitment and buy-in from guys. It may not be everybody, but there's going to be multiple players, 4, 5, maybe 6 players who are on this year's roster who are also going to be on next year's roster. And that type of continuity is really important for where college basketball is today. So make sure to give us a like, hit that share button, and let me know, what do you guys want to see from this channel as we get deeper into the summer? I am curious. I'm open to suggestions because, we're getting to the dog days here of the end of the transfer portal movement. For Duke, it seems to be over. And until next time, peace.